How you doing? So, there's a new console generation right around the corner. Not really sold on either system yet because, well, none of the games are really catching my eye. And the other thing is I like to wait for a new system to be out at least a year or so, just in case there's bugs that they can work out and stuff, because that does usually tend to happen. Not always, but the thing is, like, basically, let me put it this way: like, let's say one of the consoles had like an overheating issue, like a very severe overheating issue that it burns out the console. Where it might not even be widespread; it could be like 3,000 cases out of 5 million units that were sold. But with my luck, I'd be one of those 3,000 people. So, yeah. But that being said, let's take a look at one of the previous gen console collection. I thought this would be a good time to look at my collection from the previous gen, the Xbox One, or the X-Bone, as I like to call it, because, I don't know, it's kind of more catchy. Now, I do feel like they dropped the ball with this generation when it comes to exclusives. I'm not going to get into all that. Hopefully they do better with the new upcoming gen. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, let's get right into it. So the first game is Carmageddon Max Damage. Now, this was actually kind of like a whim buy. The thing is, when it comes to, like, I call them traditional racers, games like Forza, Gran Turismo, Cruis'n USA and stuff, I'm not too crazy about those type of games. Like, I'll play them, but they're not really my cup of tea. Well, anyway, this is kind of like a cross between a traditional racer and Twisted Metal. Like, there's all kinds of different modes and crazy characters and stuff and wacky weapons. It's pretty fun. It's funny. I actually got this from I was at Walmart. This was a few years ago. I was at Walmart and I saw it. It was like in a random section. I think I was looking for headphones or something. It was like something that somebody was gonna buy and then they changed their mind, just left it in a random spot. But it had the clearance $10 sticker on it, and it was like, reading about it, I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. And it's only $10. So like, hey, what the hell? Next we have the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy. Great little collection. Remastered all the original trilogy. It's nice to see him make a comeback and get new games and stuff, and even bring back like the old kart racing. And that's the thing, You know what they should also bring back is the Crash Bash, which was kind of like Crash Bandicoot meets Mario Party. And that was actually I still have the original for the PS1. That's a fun game. Wouldn't mind seeing them make a new one of those. Next is Dead Rising 3. I always love these games. This one was really good. I haven't played this in a while, but I forget the name's I mean, the character's name. Anyway, it's funny, this girl that you talk to throughout the game, it's like kind of his friend, and then they become like a love interest. We'll just leave it at that. Well, anyway, you find out this girl is actually the daughter of Frank. No, not Frank. What the hell is his name? It'll come to me. She's the daughter of the character that you play as in the second game. She was in that one second. Kathy, I think she was like 5 or something. So this one's like 10 years or something later after that. So she's like a teenager now. But she's in it. Like, of course, you don't know that till the end of the game. Spoilers. And then you do find him too, the other guy. I want to say George, but whatever. It'll come back to me. Anyway. So next we have Dead Rising 4. You return as Frank, and this one, I think, may be like one of the best in some cases. Like, for one thing, it's nice that it's something that I've always wanted to see them do, is that you can kind of just do whatever you want. There's more freedom to the game. You know how the other games are always like on a clock, like, oh, you only have so much time to go to this mission, so you have to, or to do this side mission, you have to balance it all out and stuff. And this, you can kind of just, there's no time limit. You just free for all, do whatever you want, which is, to be honest, I kind of feel like that's how the games always should have been, because, I mean, you have, thousands of zombies, endless amounts of weapons. Who doesn't want to just run around killing zombies and stuff? Granted, you could do that in the older games, but you still have to have the clock nagging you on and stuff, and then, obviously, when it gets to the end, you have to leave, and you can't just keep going. But anyway, so yeah, that was a great feature. It's nice to have Frank and the camera back, because that was something I kind of missed with the games. The only thing that kind of disappointed me is that there's no cutscenes for the psychopath bosses. But other than that, it's a great game. Next, we have It's one that I just bought recently, Destroy All Humans, the remastered version. So I talked about this in my last game pickup, so I don't think I need to talk about it again. Plus, I've talked about these games countless times on my channel. I'm still hoping they remaster the other ones as well, especially the second one, because that was my favorite. Doom, the 2016 Doom, absolutely phenomenal first-person shooter. I actually like the multiplayer because it has kind of like a 6th-gen feel to it, which maybe it's just me, but I feel like 6th-gen shooters were when I think of it like the 6th-gen was when shooters were really at their prime. But yeah, amazing game. I still need to get the new one. That's on my list. So we have Dynasty Warriors, which one? 9, which this was like a whim buy. I talked about it in another pickups video. It's cool, it's good, but it has, like I mentioned in my pickups video, it's like it has like an open world thing to it, which is that's fine, but it feels a little out of place for the Dynasty Warriors game. Dynasty Warriors games, you want to kind of just jump right into the action, get into the battles and stuff. Next is Forza 5, which this came with the system. I've actually told this story before. My mom won the Xbone in a contest at work. It was just like this was 6 years ago. It was some like random name drawing thing, and she won. It was like her colleagues like, she's in her 60s. What's she gonna do? And they're like, well, she has 3 kids. See, my brother, who's the oldest, and he had just gotten an Xbox at the time, and then my sister, who's the middle child, I guess you would call her a less than casual gamer, so she's not really. It's not something she would use, so that leaves me. But anyway, yeah, this came with the game. I play. Like I said, these aren't really my cup of tea, but obviously I still play it here and there. Next is Gears of War 4, which very good game. It takes place, I'd say, 20-something years after the third game. And it's like the Locusts basically evolved and are like created. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's a really good game. The multiplayer is awesome. Unfortunately, there is loot boxes, but it's something I'm not crazy about loot boxes. I don't mind grinding for them personally, but I would never spend real money on loot boxes. Fortunately, I do think loot boxes are starting to like fizzle out, because companies and even countries are like taking a stand against them, so to speak, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, very good game. You play as Marcus's son, JD, and yeah, I guess that's all I can say. But great game. The multiplayer was awesome. There's all kinds of new modes. One of my favorite new modes in that was called Dodgeball, which plays like if you played Dodgeball at school, basically you take that and mix it in with like multiplayer deathmatch. You probably have an idea what I'm talking about, but that's a very fun mode. Next we have Gears 5. Now, good game, but I was kind of disappointed with it because, well, let me explain. The campaign was amazing, very awesome. Like, there's a part which I think I neglected to mention in my pickups video, but there's a part where you're in like a frozen tundra area. You're having like a standoff, if you will. Like, when it's something that happens in a lot of Gears of War games where you have like a holdout area or something, and because there's like semi-thin ice, you can actually shoot the ice, so the enemy, the swarm, as the new enemy is called, will like fall into the ice, which is like, okay, that's cool. I know there's other things too, but and what was great was because I felt like this is what they were leaning towards, and it is what happened. They finally revealed questions that we've been asking since the second game. Is like, why is the Locust Queen a human? What were those sires? The things in the test tubes. Well, I was like, I feel like that's what they're leaning towards, and I was right. Those questions are answered in this game. But so like I said, the story is good and stuff. But well, speaking of the campaign, for one thing, there's a couple of open world parts, that's kind of cool and all. But open world games are great and stuff, and it was kind of cool having it in this. But it feels a little out of place in a Gears of War game. And then with the multiplayer, there's like, how can I put this? First of all, there's emotes, which, I've tried out Fortnite, not my cup of tea, not a bad game, it's not really my thing, but it's like, I feel like they added that in there just because, like, the whole game, it's good, but it feels like there was just so many, like, clout chasing to it, like, it's like, emotes are popular, let's throw those in there, open world games are popular, let's throw that in there, You know, and then it's like, there's a new Terminator movie coming out. Let's add characters from that. That's kind of cool and all, but it's like they put them over like traditional characters and stuff. So it's, I'm not saying the game is bad. But it feels like a mishmash almost. Like, you know, it's so like, yeah, I liked it, but I was also very disappointed by it. Next, Halo 5, which I liked this. You know, I liked the campaign, even though I only played through it once. I need to go back and play it again. But the multiplayer was absolutely amazing. Like, what was it called? Warzone, I believe, which I haven't played this in a while, but I loved this game. It was an amazing, you know, this multiplayer, of course, was awesome. Next, we have Halo Wars 2, which is, you know, like a strategy type game. You know, kind of like like Warcraft, not World of Warcraft, but like Warcraft, StarCraft, those type of games. And, you know, it's okay, not great, not bad. These are the kind of games I like them, but I have to be like kind of in the right mood to play them. Next we have Lego Worlds, which is kind of like an open world Lego building game. You know, as a huge Lego fan, obviously I had to buy that, but I'm not as crazy as Lego games as I used to be. Next we have the Mega Man Legacy Collections 1 and 2. Now, part of the reason I bought these, because I've talked about this in videos before, it's like, yes, it's because I'm a very optimistic person. I'm just like, it's like, yes, they are repackaging and reselling us old games, but, hey, it's money and attention drawn towards Mega Man, so Capcom was like, oh, look, people still care about Mega Man. They're still putting money toward Mega Man, so maybe we should make a new game. And I honestly feel like these collections selling is part of the reason we saw Mega Man 11. And hopefully we'll see more in the future. But anyway, another thing I like about these games is the little, like, challenge modes, where it's basically like, how can I put, you know, give it some, for example, there's one in the game where you have to go through all the disappearing blocks from the first 6 games. So there might be one where you have to fight all 8 bosses from the second game, or you do like a mishmash, like you might fight a boss from the second one, and then like one from the 4th, then one from the 1st, then one from the 5th, and things like that. Sometimes there's ones that's just like a random compilation of stuff, like you go through one section of a level, then you go through a portal, then you go through another section of the level and through another portal and stuff, and you know, you get medals for them and stuff, and they're kind of fun little things to do, you know, little bonus stuff. Then we have Mortal Kombat X, or 10, whatever you want to call it. This was a very good game. 11 I wasn't too crazy about, but this one was awesome. You know, I absolutely loved this game. Or love, I should say. You know, a lot of great new characters in it and stuff. One of my favorite new characters was Aaron Black. You know, I think he was one of the first people I beat it with. You know, the story in that was really good too. Next we have Rare Replay, which is a collection of all the classic, well, not all the classic Rare titles, but a lot of them, including Battletoads Arcade, which was never released on a home console. I don't know if maybe you can find that on an emulator or something, or if you play it on this collection or something, because right now this is only on the Expo and it's not on, like, you know, a lot of people want it to come to PC and the Switch and stuff, so unless that happens, you know, or if you have a friend that has this, or if you can, maybe if the Battletoads Arcade is on an emulator or something, but it's definitely worth playing. It's an awesome game. Very over-the-top violence. But yeah, anyway, other than that, it's a great collection. You know, there's games on there that's like, wow, that one takes me back and stuff. And there are ones that I'd always wanted to play that I never did. Like, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, for example. That one's... Some people love it, some people hate it. It was a game I always wanted to play. I thought it was okay. The Viva Pinata games, I never really got into those, but I started playing them on here and was like, wow, this is actually kind of fun. Very relaxing and stuff. And, you know, there's Perfect Dark, Banjo-Kazooie games, of course. Cobra Triangle, that's a fun game. Well, you get the point. Jet Force Gemini, that's a very underrated title. Next one is Recore. Now, this game, I liked it, but I don't think it's not, a lot of people didn't, like, hated it. I thought it was a pretty good game. It's not, like, a masterpiece or anything, but it is pretty good. You know, it's an open world type of game where you're in, like, this huge... The best way to describe it, it's almost like, reminds you of, like, Tatooine, like, or something, you know, it's like all this, like, you know, it's this huge desert with, like, all kinds of, like, mountains and, like, wreckage and stuff, so then it's like, you have all these different. I haven't played this in for a while, which I'll get to that in a minute. But you know, it's like an open world game. You fight all kinds of robots. You have other robot companions and stuff, and you collect cores from different robots. Which that's actually part of the reason I stopped playing this game, because there's, let's just call them special cores that you have to collect, and there's a part like toward the end of the game where you go into this like giant facility, and it's like, so you walk in. Let's say I had like 38 cores, which 38 special cores, which you have to get from like certain types of robots. So anyway, it's like I'm going in there, and it's like, okay, you need 10 special cores to get through this door. And it's like, okay, that's easy. So I open the door, go up like all these platforms, go through all these puzzles and fight these robots and stuff. Come to another door. You need 30 special cores to open this door. Okay, I have 38, so I'm good. So open that door, go through some more platforms, and go through some more puzzles, fight more robot stuff. Come to another door. You need 45 special cores to open this door. And so I'm like, so I left, and I had to leave the whole facility, go find some more of these special robots or whatever to get special cores from, so I have 45. So I go back, and of course, you had to go through all these rooms again, like, all those doors that I had, all those platforms, enemies, and puzzles and stuff. I had to do them all over again, get through that door with the 45 special cores, go through some more platforms, puzzles, and enemies. Oh, you need 60 special cores to open this door, and I was just like, done. So I just, like, uninstalled the game. I haven't touched it since. Yeah. Other than that, the game was okay. It's not great, not bad. But then we have Soul Calibur 6, which I think I picked this up this year. I love most of the... I haven't finished anything. I played, like, some of the arcade and some of the story, but most of the time I was just kind of, like, making a lot of characters and stuff in it. But great game, though. Another game from the same company. Tekken 7. Awesome game. Hayachi, I mean, not Hayachi, what the hell is his name? Akuma from Street Fighter is in this, which is kind of interesting. But there's a lot of great new characters in it. I haven't played this one in a while, but it's a great fighting game. I always like the Tekken games. Yeah, I remember playing the first one on the PS1. I think my brother still has that, actually. Next is Titanfall 2, which EA is one of the only game companies that I don't really give money to, but this was like, it was only like $5. What are they going to get out of that, like, I don't know, a buck or two maybe, so it's not like I give them a whole lot of money. And this is actually a very awesome game. It's almost like a 3D Blaster Master type game, except instead of a tank, you have a robot. But the multiplayer is great too. It's such a phenomenal game. Very underrated. Which is funny. A lot of games and franchises that from EA that suck sell like really good, and then ones from EA, or that they publish, I should say, that has their name on it. There's a good game, and it doesn't sell very well. Next we have Toy Soldiers War Chest. I always the Toy Soldiers. I always like these. These are like tower defense games. I remember playing the first one on the Xbox 360, and this one was cool because it has like G.I. Joe and He-Man and stuff in it, which I thought that was like a great addition to it. As you can see, there's others as well. But yeah, I haven't played this in a while, but it's a fun game. And it was cool how they added like those other IPs and stuff, if you will. Now we have Wolfenstein Old Blood, which is, they kind of started revisiting the series. This one was really good. It's basically, it was a prequel, so it's like, it takes place during World War II. Very good game, though. Oh, sorry, I had pizza for lunch, and now it's starting to... Well, at least by the time I record this video anyway. Then we have Wolfenstein The New Order, which this, I think, was one of the best games of this generation. It was such an amazing game, and I just couldn't put it down. It was one of those games that, like, even though I could obviously play through it again, it was like I hated to see it end because it was just that good. And the story is that, it starts off during World War II, but then, like, basically the Nazis win it, and you wake up, Blazkowicz wakes up from a coma like 20 years later or something, and the Nazis rule the world, so he joins the resistance and stuff, and that's just kind of the abridged version, but it's an amazing game. And then we have Wolfenstein the new Colossus. This one, continues off from like the other Resistance forces and stuff. It's good, but not great. Like, I liked it, but not as much as the New Order. Like, basically, this is the way I look at them. Like, Old Blood was really good. The New Order was amazing, and the new Colossus was okay. But that's just my opinion. And finally, we have Yooka-Laylee, which was an indie game made by, what the hell was the name? Team 17, Playconic, whatever. Anyway, but basically it was like a lot of the people from Rare that, because that was the thing, a lot of people blame Microsoft for ruining Rare, but, Rare actually started showing cracks and falling apart when they were with Nintendo, and Nintendo didn't necessarily treat them any better, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Nintendo refused to let it be a Nintendo Power, they forced them to change, a game, what the hell was it, Dinosaur Planet, which was, I don't know, let's just say it was about 60% finished, and then, Miyamoto was like, yeah, why don't you just, reskin that and change it into a Star Fox game, which became Star Fox Adventure. So the point is, Nintendo was no better. Like, I mean, and Rare started falling apart before they were bought by Microsoft, and they actually wanted to find a buyer too. Nintendo had a chance to buy them, they didn't do it. Anyway, that aside, some of the people who made the Conker's Bad Fur Day, not Conker's Bad Fur Day, Banjo-Kazooie, formed their own company and made this game, which basically it's like a Banjo-Kazooie successor. And I liked it. I thought it was a good game. It's not great, but it's not bad. Fun little platform. But the only thing is, the camera angles can get very clunky and stuff. But other than that, it's a fun game. The music is very good. Anyhow, that's my Xbox One collection. So until next time, everybody, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And I hope you all have a nice day.